want to welcome everyone here, a 15-year-old organization. As I'm so excited to be here tonight with everybody, obviously fighting to help kids, cancer patients, family, give them what they need, whether it's financial, emotional support. You all have been doing this. And Paul and everyone, I'm so excited to announce it in case everyone doesn't realize, you all have raised over the years over $1 million for research here. That deserves a round of applause. I know we're going to, first and foremost, we are going to recognize Dr. Mike Isikoff, who is here with us this evening. He is the Clinical and Medical Director of Oncology at Connecticut Children's Medical Center. He and his team work tirelessly to help do research, to find cures, to help these children.
You know what? Let's. I would love some music. Can we start with a song?
I think starting with a song is perfect. And we happen to have here with us tonight somebody really special and beautiful, Abby Smith. Now, Abby Smith won our first ever Vie for the Kids Battle of the Bands. I would like to introduce officially our guest performer tonight, Abby Smith.
What's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on?
First of all, I just want to welcome everybody. This is so cool that we're able to do this together tonight. And this certainly is very different than previous Vie for the Kids events, to say the least. So I had a conversation yesterday with my brother. He runs this amazing hospital in New York. I was talking to him and he was telling me something. I don't really even remember what it was. And I said, is it COVID related? And he looked at me, he said to me on the phone, everything's COVID related. And it is, right? I mean, these are crazy times. And this pandemic has placed an extraordinary burden on our society. Let's see, what has it placed a burden on? Our health, our mental health, our loved ones, our economy, our businesses, our education system. I find myself complaining a lot, Renee. And over the last 10 months, like I can't go on vacation. We can't go to movies, sporting events, restaurants, like all of these inconveniences and all of these things that have been put on hold for us. But there's this, I'll tell you what has not been put on hold, and that's childhood cancer. And, cancer doesn't care one bit about any of us. It doesn't care about our children. All of the proceeds go to benefit children at Connecticut Children's Medical Center and supporting the clinical trials and the families in need. And I just do want, so the chefs, you mentioned the chefs. I got to talk about the chefs. So Chef Jason and Chef Craig from Olmo in New Haven. You got Bill from Kawani down in Westport. On the others, down all the way down there. Chef Tyler Anderson from Millwrights in my own backyard, one of the great restaurants of Connecticut, and Jeff Lazat from Present Company. And these chefs, not only during these times, donated their time and resources, but not just tonight, but like over the years, so many times, Renee, so many times. And you mentioned it, but by supporting their restaurants, you're enabling things like this, because through their businesses, these chefs make giving back part of their missions. Like that's who they are and that's what they do. So more supporting them means that you're really actively making a difference for kids battling cancer. And I want to thank our board of directors. They're on, I think, Ray Gerosa, Michael and Cindy Pastor, Jason Sobocinski, also, one of the owners of Olmo. From day one, he has been a huge part of why we have been successful. Dr. Mike, who is on our board now, we're so happy to have him. He's a new board member this year, and Chris Sweats. So Renee, you met Chris a couple weeks ago when we were supporting one of the events that you were leading with Jamie, and he's back in the hospital fighting this terrible disease. I mean, this disease is impacting our board of directors. And, that's our VP, and we miss him terribly. He needs to get out of the hospital so we can see him. There's a lot of people to be thanked. My family, the countless volunteers that have been doing this for years. I can't mention everybody. My son Nate raised over $100,000 over the years with with his Warrior Run and Nate's race on Drumlin. I mean, it's just so cool to see, us figuring out a way to get this done tonight. But I want to tell you about the guy that we're honoring tonight. So Dr. Mike. Yes, his last name is Isaacoff, but I mean, to everybody, he's just Dr. Mike. And so Dr. Mike is now the clinical director of hematology and oncology, and also the medical director for clinical trials at CCMC. Huge responsibility that he and his team have. And really, what I got to tell you about him is that he's the reason that Vi for the Kids started. Really, he's the founder. About 14 years ago, I was attempting to run the New York Marathon. And in order to get in, I had to raise money for Fred's team, which is part of Sloan Kettering. So I asked Dr. Mike for money. After all, I mean, you ask the doctor, he's got to have some money. I thought he'd be happy to support an effort around cancer research, but he was not. He got really upset. From what I remember, I often recall him yelling at me, and he asked me why he would support, why he would give money for me to support Sloan Kettering when we have so many kids to take care of in our own community. And it really stuck with me, and it made such an excellent point. So we did something about it. We started Vi for the Kids. I remember Sue Anderson, who's on the phone, was my business partner, and we wanted to do something, and we had a dinner, and it was successful. And over the years, we've just worked, really hard to keep it going. We're very, very fortunate to have Dr. Mike. And simply tonight, we just want to say thank you, Dr. Mike, for everything that you do for our kids. Especially now, you are there for them, and there's not enough. We can't thank you enough. And I'd love to just turn the floor over to you, if I could, for a few words.
Thank you, Paul. Well, it's really humbling to be honored for any of the work that I do, and any of the work we do at Connecticut Children's. And it's really the we is really the critical piece, because any honor like this, anytime we talk about what we do, it's really not due to anything special that I've done, but really due to our team. It's really been working so hard to improve the lives of children with cancer. And so, this honor and the work you've been doing is really shared 100% with our nurses and medical assistants, our social workers, psychologists, and our office staff, and all of the other physicians. We can't do anything that we do without all of those individuals. And as you've really said, this year has been especially challenging because of COVID. The effect on our society certainly has been overwhelming, but COVID really hasn't had an effect on cancer, certainly hasn't stopped it. And over this year, we've seen over 110 children, adolescents, and young adults with a new diagnosis of cancer. In November alone, actually, we had a little bit of a surge, unfortunately. We had almost 20 new cases of children with cancer. We've had to modify how we do things in general in order to keep patients and our staff safe. But we've continued to move forward with treatment, and most critically, we've continued our research to find effective new treatments for cancer. While many events have not been able to proceed because of the pandemic, we're really grateful that the Vi for the Kids team has put together this event to help raise money so that we can continue to open clinical trials and help develop new trials. So for those of you that don't know, all of the proceeds that are raised from this event, from the dinner, but all of the money that is raised will be used to support our research program, which not only benefits patients locally, but due to many of our collaborations, will lead to benefits for patients across the country. And I could go on and on about a lot of the research endeavors that we have and a lot of the work that we're doing. And I could talk a lot about the patients who are affected by this work. But more importantly, I think, is that we're lucky tonight to have one of those patients, or at least a former patient, who I'm thrilled to have join us tonight. So we're going to next hear from Jillian Duffy, and she'll tell a bit of her story. And I'm sure that you'll share in my hope that all of the kids who we treat, and maybe some of the kids who, we raise even outside of the hospital setting, our own kids, will turn out to be like Jillian.
Okay. My dad locked eyes with me and gave me a hopeful grin. Right before, Dr. Moss asked me to climb on the examination table to chat. "What do you know about cancer?" she asked me. I replied, "A friend in my grade just beat it, and my Aunt Lisa did too." Dr. Moss reached into my lap and put my hands in hers, and she said, "Pumpkin, based on your blood counts, we think that you may have acute lymphoblastic leukemia." The next 60 seconds seemed like an hour as my parents looked from the doctor to me for a reaction. I decided in that moment that I could sit down and let cancer win, or I could brush myself off and I could fight. And that's exactly what I did. The type of leukemia I had is usually found in children from 3 to 5 years of age, so approaching treatment, we knew that we would rely heavily on clinical trials and research that had been done in the past. My treatment roadmap was nothing short of scary. I was given a chart from Monday through Friday of the way that my week of treatment would look. And then on Fridays, I would receive a lumbar puncture to check how many cancer cells my body was producing at that point in time. When I entered the hospital, my body was only making cancer cells. I went 2.5 years in chemotherapy treatment, and from IV drips to spinal infusions to taking chemotherapy at home by mouth. I participated in as many clinical trials as I could, for I want to be a part of the cure. Besides your normal side effects of chemotherapy, like loss of appetite, nausea, weight loss, hair loss, etc., I also suffered a minor stroke in July of 2011. This was one of the many rare side effects of one of my clinical trials that I was participating in. However, fortunately, there was another clinical trial that I could be on that could fight my type of cancer. If events like Vi for the Kids didn't take place annually, if individuals like you didn't support the continuation of research and clinical trials, my outcome may have been a lot different. You may be surprised when I say I don't remember a lot of the treatment aspects of my cancer journey. Much of what I wrote tonight has just been through my medical journals from years in treatment. These are not the parts of my cancer journey that I remember. But what I do remember is feeling like I had a second home, knowing that I was being taken care of by the most caring and passionate people that I have ever met. I remember laughter and happiness and song. I remember having a place where I knew I would feel better. If it weren't for a place like Connecticut Children's Medical Center and for doctors and nurses like Dr. Mike, I don't believe that I would be the woman and the survivor that I am today. Today, I stand before you. In 10 days, I will be 10 years cancer-free. I am a senior in college who will earn a dual degree in business administration and marketing before hopefully attending broadcasting school. No one ever wants to hear the word cancer, but if it happens to your family, it's comforting to know that there are amazing events to raise funds like Vi for the Kids, and that there are people like all of you here today raising money to support cancer patients and their families, and to continue research to eradicate this disease in the near future. Thank you.
Paul, I want to give everybody an opportunity to just absorb what Jillian said, and just, another round of applause for 10 years almost. Wow, yes, Jillian, thank you.
10 days away from 10 years cancer-free.
That's beautiful, and that is amazing, and that is why we're here, and that is why Vi for the Kids exists. Dr. Mike, thank you for explaining that all of this money raised here tonight is going to go towards more research and more survivors like Jillian. And I want to take a moment now, Paul. I want to give our chefs an opportunity to say hello and why it's important for them to be here tonight. So I'm just going to go in the order that I can see in front of me. So I want to start with Craig, who I hope that diaper has been changed by now. So Craig from Olo, talk about why you're here tonight and what you prepared for us and that we ate and enjoyed tonight.
Why I'm here is because Jason, my partner at Olmo, and Paul, who is a big part of the startup of Olmo, got me involved with Vi for the Kids like 3-4 years ago with a pancake off, which was super, super fun.
Yeah.
This past year, this little guy, who was born with a head full of hair, is now bald because he just finished up his last round of chemo. So Teddy, my son, was diagnosed with hepatoblastoma, which is a solid mass tumor on the liver. It's very treatable, which we were very fortunate about, and Teddy responded very well to his chemotherapy and had high five. That's right, and had a perfect surgery, and so his pathology is negative at the moment, and we hope that for the next 8 years, as he's monitored, he continues to have nothing in him, which would be great. The dish that we prepared tonight was the third course of the tasting, which I'm calling a baseball cut pork shoulder, because I wanted to serve something that was relatable and comforting during times like these.
Thank you so much, Craig. And now, if you're hearing squeaking, that is my dog, and I can't get his dog toy away from him, so I'm trying to stop that. But in the meanwhile, I would love Bill from Kawani to talk about why it's important for you to be here tonight and the dish that you prepared.
You know, without hesitation, I just jumped right on. I have 2 boys at home. So, you know, I think for many of us, right, we have a priority to take care of each other, and especially our children, and just, you know, so I didn't even think twice about it. I just want to be a part of this group with these chefs, with Tyler and Jeff and Craig, is always an honor. You know, I think everybody knows we're all dealing with a pretty stressful situation right now, just personally, the restaurant industry. So, and, you know, when you can take an opportunity to step away and do something that feels really good, it means more now probably than it ever did before. So we're just, you know, I just, when I get asked to do this stuff, a lot of the times it's an honor. So I don't want to miss that. We had prepared your first course, which was the barley miso soup with shiitakes and kombu. Really simple preparation. I just thought it was going to kind of looked at the weather and thought, hey, it's going to be December and we'll have a cold soup. And truthfully, these guys are probably better at putting out large portions than I am. So I was like, how do I get all this dinner out? So when I had done it for Craig's dinner, we did a birria, a soup from Damemo, one of my other restaurants. And this one was we had done the miso soup. So I hope you enjoy it. It was we made barley miso and sakio miso and some local kombu from one of our local oystermen who also does some seaweed farming, and some mushrooms, some seacoast, and just figured it was a nice, warm, comforting soup for everyone to enjoy on a chilly night. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Bill, we appreciate you, and your soup was a home run. So you can make and create all you want. And we want to say thank you again to our chefs, because, I mean, my goodness, you guys give and give and give. In fact, you're always the first people we come to whenever we need anything. So we say thank you, and we'll get to the Save the Connecticut Restaurants bit in just a bit. But I also want to talk to Tyler Anderson. So Tyler from Millwrights, I know you're always supporting great events. So tell us why you are here tonight, and then also talk about what you made.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. We've taken part in Vi for the Kids for a long time, 7 years or maybe more, probably 7 years. But it's kids that have cancer. Like, you know, it's a no-brainer. And, you know, Paul and Jason aren't bad to work with. So instead of doing like a pot pie, we did like a traditional French rillette with duck that's smoked in our smoker and duck fat, and then chunks of smoked chicken just sort of whipped in there.
Well, we appreciate you, Tyler. We appreciate all the work that you do. Can't have a great dinner without a dessert. So we want to welcome Jeff Lazat. Thank you so much for being here, present company. Jeff, tell us why it's important for you to be here and the dessert you prepared for tonight.
Well, Jeff's not here, but that's okay, because his dessert is banging. It's really, really good. Enjoy it. He told us that he might be able to make it, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for Jeff. Hopefully he's busy right now in the kitchen cooking, because that would be the best thing possible. But thank you,
Yeah.
Jeff, and thanks to Present Company, certainly. The
I
Jeff
can-
always
I can-
raised to the occasion.
I can't do it justice, but I'll tell you what it was. And I'm like, oh, it's like a poached pear, and I tasted the pear, and it was unbelievable. And then underneath the pear, I discovered this very decadent chocolate cake. So I ate some of that. That was really great. And then it was smothered in like a half of inch of delicious caramel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, and then all of it together. Oh my God.
I wanted to add some beer. That's all. I wanted to throw some beer in there. So we got a Connecticut IPA, really juicy, really easy drinking. Just slam it down, and we've got a Autumn Nugget, which is a wet hop beer, great for the season, great for the fall, winter, made with fresh nugget hops, and then we put vanilla bean and pink peppercorn and nutmeg and cinnamon in it, so it's kind of like round and toasty. And then also want to give a shout out to our good buddy JD from Ripe. Ripe is down in New Haven, and JD was like, I want to donate. And I was like, great. What do you want to do? He's like, I'm going to give everybody a bottle of Bloody Mary mix. So please take your Bloody Mary mix tomorrow morning. It's Friday, or you could wait till Saturday if you want.
There are no days in COVID. There's no days in COVID.
Have some bloodies. Relax. The weekend's going to be crappy out.
They make good orange juice.
They make good orange juice. They do.
So if you have a glass of water or orange juice or Bloody Mary or a cocktail or a beer, I'm going to ask everybody to raise your glass right now. And if anybody has the ability to do a screenshot and save it to me, I would like to get this screenshot and share it on all of our stations to help raise money for Buy for the Kids, buyforthekids.org. Please share this photo. Please share a toast to life, a toast to cure, to Dr. Mike and his team, to Connecticut Children's, to Craig and his son, to Jillian and her recovery. This has been a wonderful night. So please, everybody, you got your glasses up? Or there we go. Now somebody take a screenshot. I don't know when it's going to be taken or not, so I'm just going to stay here for 1 second and everybody make the JCPenney pose. Okay, I hope somebody got that. Without any further ado, we're going to wrap up our night and then say goodbye after, of course, our wonderful singer, Abby, performs again. She has chosen to sing for us such a song that is perfect. It's from Connecticut's own John Mayer. The song Abby is going to sing, everybody put yourselves on mute, is Waiting on the World to Change, and aren't we all? Abby, it's all yours.
You know, I really had no idea John Mayer was from Connecticut. I just found that out. Me and all my friends were all misunderstood. Say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep on waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system when we're standing at a distance. So we keep on waiting on the world to change. Find the power to bring our neighbors home from war. They will never miss a Christmas. No more ribbons on the door. When you trust your television, what you get is what you get. And when they own the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. While waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care. There's no thing the fight ain't fair. So keep on waiting on the world to change. Here comes the solo. We're still waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change.
All right, what a great way to wrap the night up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sharing a part of your evening with Vi for the Kids. Thank you, Chef Save Connecticut Restaurants. Thank you, Dr. Mike, for that solo. A lot of people don't know that he did the solo for that version, Abby, right? Isn't that Dr. Mike, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, definitely. And Paul, your team, your staff, Jason, everybody, thanks for having me. I'm wishing everybody a safe, healthy, wonderful holiday season. ViForTheKids.org. Share that photo of all of us doing a cheer. Share that photo for life, continued health, love, and just a safe holiday season. And to everything opening up in 2021. Good night, everyone.
Yes. Cheers. Me and all my friends, we're all misunderstood. Say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting on the world to change.